Darkcast Network. Welcome to the dark side of podcasts.
Content warning ahead. This podcast contains very sensitive topics such as missing persons, unsolved cases, haunted houses, and paranormal activity. These type of topics can contain very upsetting, sensitive details and stories. Please listen responsibly. Welcome to Misty Mysteries, a podcast in the business of ghostly spooks and chilling crimes. I'm your host, Keely, and today I was inspired by one of my favorite paranormal TV shows. That is, of course, the A&E show Celebrity Ghost Stories. It featured a lot of different celebrities like talk show host Regis Philbin, actress Carrie Fisher, actors Jerry Stiller and Scott Patterson, and so many more. Let's dive right into some of my favorite celebrity ghost stories. Some of these may have been featured on the show Celebrity Ghost Stories, and some of these have just been very openly shared in a lot of other places by the celebrities you'll hear in this episode.
Coming to Octoberpod home video, it's the Phantom of the Viceroy Drive-In. 138 living nightmares crawl out of your phone or streaming device and into your lap. It's the Phantom of the Viceroy Drive-In with special guest stars Lady Vengeance, Carissa Vickus, JT Hosak, and Keely, host of Misty Mysteries. Do you have the nerve to watch alone? Better see it with your sweetheart, but they'd have to be a master of Kung Fu to protect you from the Phantom. What is the Phantom's dark secret? Why does he leave a single red rose on the bodies of his victims? What unholy, satanic rituals does he conduct deep in the darkness of Hangman's Grove? Find out the answers to these questions and more when you see the Phantom of the Viceroy Drive-In. Coming Tuesday, April 25th to Octoberpod home video, only on YouTube. Find Octoberpod on the World Wide Web at octoberpodvhs.com. Retro horror for bold individualists.
Starting off with Anna Nicole Smith, and oh my, is hers interesting, although this one is a lot more rated X than R. In 2014, she shared a story during an interview for a magazine, telling the interviewer, "A ghost would crawl up my leg and have sex with me at my apartment a long time ago in Texas. I used to think it was my boyfriend, and one day I woke up and it wasn't. It was like a spirit and it whoosh went up. At this point, she is miming a ghost flying from her bed sheets. I was freaked out about it, but then I was like, well, you know what? He never hurt me and he just gave me some amazing sex. So I have no problem." The interviewer then told her that this could have just been a dream, but she replied back to him saying, "It was not a dream because it was happening every night. I told my boyfriend and he didn't believe me. Of course, men." Speaking of men, this next haunting is the haunting of Gordon Matthew Thomas, the singer, songwriter, and bassist of the Police, also known as Sting. During a BBC Radio 2 interview, he talked about a pretty terrifying experience in his 16th century English manner. He shared that he had a lot of experiences in this house, saying, quote, "A lot of things happened in that house. A lot of flying objects and voices and strange things happened. When you live in an old house, you get this energy there." But his encounter that caught my attention specifically happened at 3 a.m. when he woke up to see a woman holding a child in her arms, standing in the corner of his room, watching him. He first thought that this was his wife Trudy holding one of their kids, till he reached over and felt she was still in bed. He was met with this cold chill, realizing Trudy was not standing there, but something else was. His wife then woke up during this encounter, also to see the woman, and told Sting, "Gosh, who is that?" And then, just like that, the ghostly woman and child disappeared. Based on what Sting said about his home, I doubt that this was his last encounter with otherworldly things, but now we're going to move on to another man who's had a lot of experience with otherworldly things in his acting career and his real life. This actor is Dan Aykrod. He is known for many roles, starting his career in the 70s, but of course, he's known for his role in the Ghostbuster movies. And I guess the spirits didn't get the word that he could ghostbust them, because he claims his Hollywood home was haunted by a man who was buried under the hillside next to his home, and Cass Elliot, who was the singer of the band The Mamas and the Papas. In Dan's home, he would see items moving around on the counters and doors opening and closing seemingly on their own. He also said that his staff would be touched but then turn around to see nobody was there. In his home, Dan was very accepting of spirits, being open to the paranormal pretty much all of his life, and a very large member and large voice for the UFO community. One of his experiences in his home that I've seen shared a couple of times happened when Dan was sleeping and he woke up in a trance. In this trance state, he noticed that his door he had shut before his nap was slightly ajar. Then he noticed that his mattress was indented, almost as if someone was sleeping in bed with him. Being a friend to the spirits of his home, instead of being scared of them, he took this opportunity to cuddle with the spirit laying in his bed. Of course, Dan is not the only person who makes friends with spirits. Many of us do, and an actress named Vanessa Hudgens does as well. She has been acting from a pretty young age, starting off in the late 90s, probably known best, at least to me, for her role in High School Musical. Recently, Vanessa was a guest on the Kelly Clarkson show, where she revealed that she has always loved ghost stories. As a kid, she and her friends would tell stories around a bonfire, but she has had a lot of her own real-life experiences. On the show, she told Kelly, "I remember getting ready for school when I was 8 years old, and there was those ducks that are the duck things you pull. There was one of those on the dining room table, and I started walking, and it just started going alongside me. I kind of shut it down for a while because it's scary. The unknown is scary." Now that she's older, she says that this is a gift and something that I have the ability to do, so I'm going to lean into it. Vanessa now even goes on paranormal investigations, often using the spirit box to communicate with spirits. As for two former childhood actresses and singers from my childhood, they had their share of experiences, just like Vanessa and Dan, but also not like Vanessa and Dan. They are definitely on the negative end of the haunted spectrum. The first is Miley Cyrus, singer and actress known for her role in Hannah Montana, as well as many songs like Flowers, Wrecking Ball, and Party in the USA. While Miley was on her European tour in 2013, she did an interview with Elle UK where she shared her terrifying haunting in her London apartment. She was renting this apartment as a base for her and her family while she was on her European tour. The apartment building was changed from an old family-owned bakery to apartments, and this place saw the deaths of a few family members from the original bakery. While living here, Miley was having really crazy dreams and nightmares, and the bathroom in this place seemed to be the hot spot. While showering one day, Miley had seen this little boy sitting in the bathroom sink watching her shower. She described feeling very freaked out and watched during this. Then the next night, she swore that she saw the young boy sitting in the bathroom sink just kicking his feet. Not too long after Miley had these experiences with this little boy, while her sister Noah was showering, Miley started to hear Noah screaming from the shower. Miley ran into the shower to find Noah was just very red because the water had flipped to be extremely hot, even though the knob hadn't changed or moved at all. Miley's aunt also experienced some crazy hauntings in this apartment. One day she left the apartment and she made sure to lock everything up before she left. which I assume is probably pretty important when you're staying with a celebrity like Miley. But when she got back, all the doors and windows had been unlocked and opened. Miley's mother and her then fiance, but now ex-husband, Liam Hemsworth, had experiences here as well, which she didn't share in this interview. All of these were enough to make Miley leave this apartment and never look back. Another person who left their haunted location and did not look back is singer and actress Ariana Grande, known for her role in the TV show Victorious and hit songs like God is a Woman and Thank You Next. In a 2013 interview with Complex, she was asked by the interviewer if she believed in aliens and ghosts, which she said, "Of course, we'd be so stupid to believe we are the only people here." She then goes on to explain a ghost or demonic experience she had in Kansas City a few weeks before the interview. In Kansas City, she had a 2-day haunted excursion. The first night, they went to a haunted castle, and the second night, they went to a location called Stoll Cemetery, which Ariana explains is known as one of the 7 gates to hell on earth, saying it was so evil that the Pope won't fly over the cemetery. Ariana and her crew were so excited to visit the castle, but the cemetery was a whole different story. She explains her story by saying, "I felt this sick, overwhelming feeling of negativity over the whole car, and we smelt sulfur, which is a sign of a demon. And there was a fly in the car randomly, which is another sign of a demon. I was like, this is scary, let's leave. I rolled on the window before I left and said, we apologize, we didn't mean to disrupt your peace. Then I took a picture, and there are 3 super distinct faces. In the picture, they're faces of textbook demons." The interviewer asked her if they could see this picture, but Ariana explains that she had deleted it. She told the interviewer, "The next day, I tried to send the picture to my manager, and it said, this file can't be sent. It is 666 megabytes. I'm not kidding. I used to have a folder called Demons that had pictures with all the screen caps in it, but then weird things started to happen to me, so I deleted it." The interviewer asked her what strange things she experienced, and she explained, "I was going to sleep about 2 weeks ago. I had just gotten off the phone, and as soon as I closed my eyes, I heard this really loud rumbling right by my head. When I opened my eyes, it stopped immediately, but when I closed my eyes, it started again with the whispers. Every time I closed my eyes, I started seeing these really disturbing images with like red shapes. Then I opened my eyes and got back on the phone, and I was like, I'm really scared and I don't want to go to bed tonight. And then I scooched over to the left side of my bed because that's where the best service is in my room, but there was this massive black matter. I don't know what it was. It was like a cloud of something black right next to me. I started to cry, and I was on the phone like, what do I do? What do I do? And they said, tell it the F off. I thought, I'm not going to do that. It's going to upset it. So I'm just going to chill and not feed into it because all it wants is fear. It feeds on fear. I watched it move to the front of my bed, and then I fell asleep on the phone. I woke up and it was gone. The next night, my friend Tyler was staying with me. She said she was trying to sleep and her body felt paralyzed almost. And she described the same exact thing I saw. The interviewer went on without any further mention of ghosts or demons.
Welcome to Creepy Tapas,
the show where 2 spooky best friends give you tiny tastes of terror connected by a common ingredient.
We serve up movie reviews, mysteries, murder, mayhem, and tantalizing tales from the depths of the internet. And some random bullshit, too. All focused around a similar theme.
We blend our love of horror, oddities, and general creepiness and dig a little deeper, discovering the history, psychology, and truth behind your wildest fears.
Join us, Ash and Jordan, as we descend into full darkness every Sunday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's Creepy Tapas, y'all.
What?
Proud members of the Darkcast network.
In the hope to end this episode on a little more of a lighter note, I have one last experience for you. That is the experience of retired NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. Recently on his own podcast, the Dale Jr. Download, he opened up about a crash he was in during a 2014 practice race on the Sonoma track, which he believed a spirit saved his life. He shares his story saying, "When I wrecked in the Corvette in 2014 in Sonoma and it caught fire, someone pulled me out of that car, and I thought that it was a corner worker because I felt someone put their arms under my armpits and pull me out of the car. I didn't get out. I don't have any memory of myself climbing out of the car. I remember sort of moving like in emotion, like going to lean forward and try to climb out of the car. Then something grabbed me under the armpits, pulled me up over the door bars, and then let go of me, and I fell to the ground. And there's pictures of me lying on the ground next to the car. I know that when I got to the hospital, I was like, who pulled me out of this car? I gotta say thanks to that person, because it was a hand. It was a physical hand grabbing me. I felt it, and there was nobody there." This crash was recorded and photographed, showing Dale Jr. got out of the car himself. In this accident, he was badly burnt, and when asked about it in 2014, he shared that he believed his late father, Dale Earnhardt, who died in an accident during a 2001 NASCAR race, was there to save him. No matter what happened that day, if it may have been his survival kicking in, his dad's spirit protecting him, or maybe another spirit, though he had to be treated for these burns, I'm glad he was able to walk away. This is going to be the end of Misty Mysteries Celebrity Ghostly Encounters. If you would like to hear about celebrities who haunt themselves, join me next week for a sort of part 2 to this celebrity hauntings. If you like the podcast, leaving a review or sharing your favorite episode is the best way to show your love and help out the podcast. For now, I will see you next week for more ghostly spooks and chilling crimes.